G, thank you very much. Let me share my screen. I hope it's visible to all of you. I'm Shoukat Bizinjo, Additional Director, Payment System Department, State Bank of Pakistan. Uh, Good afternoon and Assalamu alaikum. I'm pleased to be representing State Bank of Pakistan before the esteemed gathering of digital financial services experts, although they all are online at the moment, and a greater number of online participants to present my presentation on the topic of digitalization and technology governance, a regulatory perspective. I must congratulate the organizers, Escape Talks, on organizing this online third edition meeting of Digital Transformation Conclave 2021. I'm of the view that such sessions on digital transformation bring together people to share their experiences on innovative trends taking place in banking and payments arena. Now, let's see how the national payment system infrastructure looks in the country at the moment. As you know, that infrastructure has become integral part of economy, and the linkages among the payment system entities have become stronger than ever, and all the more important as well. Existing infrastructure is the culmination of transformation brought in by both private sector as well as the public sector. The current ecosystem consists of private sector entities like banks, branchless banking service providers, payment system operators, payment service providers, payment aggregators, and all these payments eventually land up at either financial institution, holding funds, or state bank operated RTGS, which is a real-time gross settlement system. And now it's, the updated version will be implemented once ATS, automated transfer system projects, becomes complete after implementation, which is at the moment is a going on continued project. Work is progress on the ATS system. I mean, it's the vendor acquisition process and the others are going on. So SPP in collaboration with the international partner is now also working to further strengthen its critical financial market infrastructure by deploying a state-of-the-art, first of its kind in the country, the faster payment system of Pakistan, which was previously named as Micropayment Gateway as well. The state-of-the-art infrastructure will provide both the financial institution and the customers an opportunity to avail innovative financial and payment services in a rapid, safe, and secure manner. Now, let's see this slide for a moment. You can see from the figure of the last 5 years, I'm sorry I could not, I have the figures from of the 2020 because of the, uh, being rushed. Sorry, I could not, give them here. But these 5 years figures, they depict that, the cash is still not the king, is emperor. And currency in circulation to GDP percentages, they are still on the rising trends. So this means a lot of work is still to be done as well. And then towards achieving a digitization, what initiatives SPP has been doing, let's discuss them as well. Now, towards achieving the greater digitization, uh, State Bank of Pakistan launched its Vision 2020 in 2015. Another vision, there are 5 strategic goals. The strategic goal of 5, that's a developing modern and robust payment system. pertains to developing a robust payment systems. Under this strategic goal, there are four tactical objectives. That's developing Pakistan's national payment systems strategy, modernizing the payments, clearing and settlement infrastructure, implementing robust regulatory and supervisory frameworks, and maintaining the quality, security, and quantity of notes and coins in circulation. Although the fourth tactical objective may not be directly related with this goal, but even then, since currencies and cash are still in circulation, to maintain their security and quality, that's also one of the objectives. Now, this is the National Payment Systems Strategy. In this context, SBP through World Bank's Financial Inclusion Support Framework (FISF) program prepared its national payment system strategy for Pakistan's NPS to support both national financial inclusion strategy and FIS and the financial stability of the country. NPS was officially launched on 1st November 2019 when World Bank President visited Pakistan. The objectives of NPSS are to make recommendation to design the national payment systems as per the international best practices and tailored for the specific needs of safe, secure, and efficient, inclusive national payment system in the country. It has six streams and comprises of 75 action items, having the external stakeholders, namely the Finance Division, Government of Pakistan, excuse me, the regulatory bodies like SECP, PTA, and other, the bodies like NADRA, etc. So you can see that these action items, State Bank has been greatly pursuing the implementation of those action items. A number of those had already been implemented as well. Now see, State Bank's role in digitization. To have a view of this, I want to emphasize that, and as you know, the SBP has been in the infrastructure development to provide the rails and infrastructure for the digitization, like RTS in the past and now RAS project. It's one of the operators of digital payment systems like RTGS, for which SBP is already the operator. And mostly in the world, the central banks operate the real-time gross settlement system, payment system, RTGS, real-time gross settlement system. State Bank also works for the enabling policy and regulations as well, for enablement of digitization, and along with that, it works in the stability area, ensuring safety and security through its oversight measures. Further, it also works as a catalyst of the innovation to facilitate the startup, the fintechs in the country as well. Now, what are the major initiatives towards the digitization? One of the key, overarching legal document is in the Payment System Electronic Fund Transfer Act, which was implemented, which was, formulated way back in 2007. Now, a consultant has been hired to further go through the act and to work on the revision of the same. So once it will come, the work on the same is completed, the same will go through again the parliament, other for the approvals as well. Further, SBP has launched the popular electronic money institution regulations in 2019 to promote the digital payments, foster innovation payments industry, increase financial inclusion in the country. And as you know, the EMI offer innovative, user-friendly, and cost-effective, low-value digital payment instruments like wallets, prepaid cards, and contactless payment instruments. E-money has played crucial role in digitizing different types of payments in various countries. In Pakistan, it is expected that they can offer interoperable and secure digital payment products and services to end users. Further, SVPs are also able to have its rules for PSOs and PSPs, payment systems operators, payment service providers, way back in 2014, for enabling regulatory environment and bringing harmony uh, to an introducing standardization for this regard. They provide the purpose of those PSP is to provide electronic platform for clearing, processing, routing, and switching of electronic transactions. They can make agreements with the banks. They can make agreement with the microfinance banks, other PSOs, PSPs, merchants, e-commerce service providers, and any other company for provision of services mandated to PSOs and PSPs. They're the key components of financial market infrastructure and can be engaged in operating, providing payment systems related services like electronic payment gateways, payment schemes, clearing houses, ATM switches, point of sale gateways, e-commerce gateways. They can act as an intermediary for multilateral routing, switching, and processing of payment transactions. Further, SBP has also launched its simplified digital onboarding of merchants rules very recently to facilitate the growth of digital payments acceptance points, to facilitate EMIs to onboard small merchants and enable them to accept payments digitally. And as you know, the PayPal launched by State Bank through OneLink, being a domestic payment scheme, is envisioned under the SPP's 2020 vision. Currently, 35 banks of the country have adopted the PayPal. Reasons to launch domestic payment scheme was to save interchange cost of international payment schemes. PayPal cards can only be used on ATMs and point of sale terminals throughout Pakistan, and it can be enabled for and or enabled sorry enabled for the online transactions as well. Further, to improve the payment card acceptance infrastructure in the country, it was noted that during past few years, that although there has been considerable growth in digital payment infrastructure in number of debit cards issued by banks to the customers, but the point of sale infrastructure has grown in a very stagnant manner, and growth remained stagnant. Some key challenges faced by the point of sale acquiring industry in Pakistan include high interchange, reimbursement rates, lower than cost merchant discount (MDRs) to onboard high value merchants, and less interest shown by the financial institution in offering low cost domestic payment card to the customers. To address about challenges and increase point of sale card acceptance infrastructure, especially at retail level, in line with the objectives of its national payment system strategy, it was decided to implement measures like MDR for the POS acquiring to be within the range of 1.5 to 2.5% for both existing and new merchants. IRF for debit and prepaid card issued in Pakistan used on domestic POS terminal should be kept at 0.5 percentage. Now, SCP has also worked for the digitization of government's payment tax collection as well in the recent past. It has also introduced one of the international standards, namely IBAN, for standardizing the account number, for standardizing the payment instrument, pay orders, checks, demand draft. And the important milestone has been the implementation stage through processing. As you know, the till 2016, the core banking systems of the banks and the PRISM system, that's the RTGS of Pakistan Real-Time Interbank Settlement Mechanism, they were not integrated. Hence, banks manually entered the payment instruction in the PRISM RTGS terminals, which was inefficient and it was prone to error. So to improve efficiency and minimize errors in payment processing, it was decided to that participants shall implement instead through processing by integrating the core banking applications of the financial institutions with the RTGS system of State Bank. Further, State Bank has also upgraded its RTGS system, which was initially implemented 2008, and later on it was upgraded with 2017 with the latest versions as well. SVP has also been facilitating the government of Pakistan in implementation e-commerce policy framework, which was developed by government of Pakistan. Towards that end, there's some key achievements done by the State Bank towards e-commerce policy facilitation by State Bank Pakistan. They are repatriation allowed through home remittance channels. Initial limit, which was only US dollar 1,500 per month, which has now been increased to US dollar 25,000 per month. 35% export earnings can be repatriated, and account openings after fulfilling KYCs, the all things that we allowed. Further, SPP has also been ensuring the clearing and settlement process of ancillary system they work in an efficient manner. Now, from this slide, you can see that State Bank has been enabling EMIs, PSOs, PSPs. In the future, roadmap is given as well. At the moment, the EMIs, namely Finja, NayaPay, VAMSOR, SadaPay, and CMP ECC, the zone, they are conducting their pilot operations. Once they complete with the pilot operation, they approach SBP and the cases will be processed by the commercial launch as well. And the entities like EP System and Tag, they are in the, in principle are the initial stages as well. Further, SVP has also been successful in launching the first white label ATM operator, namely WebDNA. And also, Messrs. NIPT and Avanza, they are under the pilot stages for the payment, e-commerce payment gateways in the country, along with the 40Pay as well, which is operating its pilot operations by the PSO PSP. Islam wants to ease the requirements at pilot stage. Islam wants to enlist the documentation requirements, make it more, transparent. State Bank wants to ease the processes for those new entities as well, further going on. Now, this SPP is, the towards the, its objective of financial inclusion. The financial inclusion require that both men and women get equal opportunities to access, use formal financial services. And women in the country, as you all know, are disproportionately underserved by country's financial system. This disparity impedes Pakistan's national economic development objectives. So the goal of this policy proposal drafted by SBP, which is under approval stages at the moment, the name of this is the gender mainstreaming policy, banking and equality, reducing the gender gap in financial inclusion. Its goal is to engender equality in banking and reduce the gender gap in financial inclusion. This policy drafted by SPP in consultation with relevant stakeholders is based on the premise that gender neutral policy in financial sector been insufficient to reduce the gender gap in financial sector, and there's pressing need to view financial sector policies through a gender lens. So the proposed policy identifies 5 key pillars, that is gender diversity in financial institutions and their access points, women-centering products and services, women champions at all touch points, robust gender disaggregated data collection and target setting, policy forum on gender. Uh, and the salient features of this are that it wants needs there to promote equal opportunities for women and men for accessing and pursuing financial and professional endeavors. Is critical for sustainable inclusive economic growth of the country. Improved gender parity in financial economic opportunities can enhance socio-economic development outcomes for not just the present but future generation as well. Ultimately, a country's success to empowering women's race and gender responsive approach in its public policy management implementation. As you know, currently, women are disproportionately underserved by the country's financial system, as only 25% of the total unique bank accounts are owned by women in Pakistan. This disparity impedes Pakistan's national economic development. So to reduce the gender gap, SBPs developed this gender mainstreaming policy, banking equality, reducing the gender gap. It will soon be approved once all, consultation and process complete. Now, this is the last point, the most popular, the important initiative taken by its SPP recently. This SPP's key infrastructure layer initiative, they are the RAS project, previously known as MPG, Micro Payment Gateway, and the ATS, as I mentioned earlier, Automated Transfer System, which is under approval stages. These two initiatives on the completion would not only improve the overall efficacy of payment infrastructure in the country, but also pave the way for new entrants to bring in innovative payment products. ROS will not only onboard banks and microfinance banks, but in the long run will provide opportunity to innovative payment service providers to onboard on ROS through consumption of APIs, application programming interfaces, in a simple and quick manner. Uh, Now, this is a macro view of RAF design. RAF core is interfaced with the Prism, that's RTGS for settlement and pre-funding of liquidity. And the second, API gateway for connectivity and communication with RAF participants and provision of value-added services. There are two major classes of RAF participants, direct and indirect. Those who are direct members of Prism, RTGS, and the settlement happen through their own current accounts, SPP, the Commercial Islamic Microfinance Banks, CDC, etc. Indirect, those entities who are not direct members of Prism or RTGS and do not have a current account SPP. RAF uses state-of-the-art ISO 222 messaging format to support contextual payments. RAF also has APIs which enable non-financial calls for validation before actual financial transaction payments happen. RAF is also going to launch its own alias directory services for P2P payments as well. Now, relating to the use cases of RAF, those both, functionality-wise, RAF will roll out three major. They are you can see P2X, person to persons or other varieties, B2X, business to X, and G2X, government startup. So these are the, you can say, functionality-wise, RAF would roll out three major use cases would which would impact 12 different types of payments covering most of the local payment spectrum. The first use case is bulk payments already rolled out on 11 January 2021. There are currently 17 participants live on RAF bulk, and CDC's dividend disbursement are currently happening through RAF. New participants, including government entities, are also being onboarded. Second use case is person-to-person payment. This use case will enable a fast, real-time alias-based payments between customers of financial institutions. RAF participants would be able to provide instant payments to their customers via the internet banking platform, mobile apps, or any other payment initiation channel. The person to merchant P2M is the third use case. This will not only enable merchant payments, but will also pave way for efficient collections. So the work is going on the other two use cases as well, use case 2 and use case 3. Once they are, their UAT and other, processor complete, they will be rolled out in due time as well. Now, uh, SPP is tracking number of steps during the ongoing, pandemic COVID-19 as well. All you know, as sorry. A few steps taken during the COVID-19 pandemic are waiving up charges for all fund transfer transactions, waiving up RTGS charges, its own system, wa waive the requirements of biometric verification of activation internet banking, mobile banking channels, allow the wallet opening through in-app biometric requirements are mandatory under which was under BB regulation, increase transaction limits for small digital merchants from 50,000 to 500,000, introduction of direct check deposit facility, and also allowing the banks to facilitate the customers by a doorstep or Dropbox check collection facility. The most notable increase was noted in the interbank fund transfer facility performed through the one link. Impact of the waiver is so that customers before we were charged of performing at around 180,000 transactions per day on average, whereas by the end of December 2020, the transaction showed an immense growth of almost 5 times, that is reaching the level of 800,000 IBFT transactions per day. Further, before COVID-19, the activation rate on mobile banking, internet banking channel was on average of 6%. However, after waiving the biometric requirement, the growth rate jumped or increased by 20%. One of the another initiative by SPP is the Roshan Digital Accounts. SPP is working on this solution to benefit more than 9 million non-resident Pakistanis by developing and running this flagship scheme to offer presence-less digital onboarding mechanism. Currently, around 11 major banks have been onboarded. This on become part of this initiative, and the accounts opened across 100,000, as you know, by the time it's public. Now, initiative toward the to ensure security and safety of systems as well. Is one of the key objectives of SBP, as you know. Towards this end, one of the key objectives of SPP is the oversight framework. A key function of SPP is to safeguard the public depositors and maintain depositors' confidence that payments being made using those funds are secure till finality, which depends upon safe, robust, and efficient payment, clearing and settlement infrastructure and systems collectively known as financial market infrastructure FMIs. The prime objective payment system oversight framework is put in place a standard assessment mechanism based on widely accepted accepted principles, standards, and best practices for efficient, effective oversight of payment systems. Another key development by SPP has been the form of enterprise technology governance, the risk management framework. As you know, the technologies become an integral part of the business operation FIs, financial institutions. With such technology usage and dependence, if not properly managed, may heighten the technology risks as well. So, with a vision to provide baseline technology governance and risk management principles to FIs, SPP in 2007 developed the framework on enterprise technology governance, risk management in financial institutions. It covers the areas, namely IT governance in FI, the principle and development of robust information security setup, IT services delivery and operation management, acquisition and implementation of IT systems, business continuity and IT audit, and prevention against cyber attacks. So, the one of the very latest instructions by SBP has been just recently issued by a State Bank, uh, and it has revised its payment card security regulation, introduced certain digitization initiative to minimize the queues at payment counters of merchant, reduce card transaction processing time at point of sale. SBP allowed banks to relax the requirement of entering the pins for transaction up to PKR 3000. Further, SPP allowed those banks which have already implemented 3D secure protocol that they can now activate the customer's payment card for online e-commerce transactions within the need of a specific request for without the need of a specific request for activation as well. Further, to eliminate the risk of SPM payment card by fraudsters, SPP directed the ATM partner in Pakistan shall only accept EMV, chip and PIN compliant payment card in the country. These measures will become applicable after June 2021. During COVID-19, SPP worked on cybersecurity measures as well to ensure the continuity of business in operation, instructed all regulatory financial institutions to exercise due diligence and implement stronger cybersecurity measures. The steps taken by SPP were to increase cyber resilience, including restriction for work from, instructions for work from home and accessing of critical infrastructure under prescriptive conditions, effective sharing of cybersecurity and threat-related information, establishment of cyber threat intelligence on units, and deployment of emergency response teams. One of the important circulars of SBP toward that has been in the area of security, circular of 2018 as well, which we can on the cyber incidents and how to strengthen internal controls by the banks, wherein banks were instructed to strengthen their that one of the all impulsive cyber security or information security instruction by SPP, which was issued in 2018. That was also one of the important circulars by SPP. The main aim of SPP was to strengthen the internal control environment of the regulatory entities. to align the global industry adopt the global industry standard, to review the arrangements within the payment scheme, and increasing customer awareness and confidence toward the digital payments. Now, what the challenge is, I think, and what the most industry experts can agree on, the low documentation economy, the social issues and policies to promote cash, they may be the one of the challenges. Banks' interest in digitization payment that needs to be further. That need further. Seen interest is being shown by the banks in this area as well. That's good omen for the country. Inadequate interoperability, that need one of the challenges, because at the moment only ATMs are interoperable, other channel needs to be interoperable as well, especially the branches banking service providers. Limited ability to involve and innovate due to KYC requirement, that may be one of the challenges. And cybersecurity technology issues, they may be the challenges. The way forwards for the payment landscape, the last but not the least from me, moving towards the instant payments, increasing the digital access points, especially at the retail level, interoperating the all payment channel in the country, reducing the cost of digital payments by promoting low cost instruments, promoting innovation and facilitation of fintechs, and enhancing the cyber resilience and cyber security in the country. Thank you very much for your patient hearing. Thanks a lot.